My name is Hannah, and this is my year of less stuff. Hey y'all, it's time for another empties video. I've got a big old box of empties here, and I'm gonna go through them. I'm gonna talk to you about each product. I am going to get a little overexposed, I think, during this video. I preemptively turned down the exposure because the sun is starting to set. I've never filmed with natural light this late in the day, and it might get kind of intense. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Hannah. I love beauty products. I love all beautiful things, but I try really hard not to overspend on them. I've been down that road before, and it was miserable recovering from it. And I also try to kind of like put the bug in y'all's ear not to overspend on things. I try to keep a balance here on my channel between appreciating beautiful things and not getting carried away to the detriment of our financial health. If that sounds good to you, then please subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. I'm going in no particular order because I just don't feel like going in order. I'm just gonna pull the biggest thing out of the box first, which maybe it's too soon to tell with this because it's that foot peel thing. It came with little paper booties and with 2 packets of solution, and you pour the solution into the booties, and then you put your feet in the booties, tie them tight around your ankles, and then you leave your feet in the booties soaking in the solution for an hour. Supposedly it gets in amongst all of the dead skin on your feet and it makes it peel off. And the peeling isn't supposed to happen until like 3 to 5 days after you've done it. So you do it and then nothing happens, and then 3 to 5 days later it all starts peeling off. And I've seen all of these glamorous, exciting, peely pictures all over Instagram. Samantha March just did this and featured it on her Instagram. It's from Patchology, the Posh Peel Pedicure. But it's not happening for me, and I feel like it's been over the time. I'm getting like teeny little tiny bubbles, just like 2 or 3 of them peeling off. I just don't feel like the big pieces are going to come off of my feet like they come off of other people's feet. And I think why I feel that way is that I did one of these once before. It was, I think, a K-beauty brand, and nothing happened. It was called Baby Feet. I remember now. It was called Baby Feet. It had all these reviews. I think I purchased it from Amazon. It was back when we lived in Michigan. It didn't work at all. And at the time I thought that it was because I am a tango dancer. I haven't been dancing much lately for obvious reasons. But at that time I was dancing a lot, and since I really got serious about tango, I've had quite a lot of like dead skin and kind of calluses built up on my feet. And I just thought that my feet were so tough that the solution couldn't get at that stuff. But this one is supposed to be like the be all and end all of foot peels. So I will report back in the comments if it starts happening. I think it's been more than 5 days by now, but maybe it's just taking longer than that. Masks. I've actually been masking a respectable amount lately because of the quarantine. I've just been taking more baths. A lot of what's in here is like bath products, face washes, things that I've been using more because I've been like getting in the bath and using a bunch of stuff on my body and washing my face really carefully with stuff, and then masking, and then doing another mask, and then doing a sheet mask. So there are a number of sheet masks in here, none of which are standouts, none of which are requiring me to like set aside a moment to talk to you about them. This is a mask, but it's not a sheet mask, so I will touch on it. It's the Dead Sea Wash Off Mask from Global Beauty Care. So it's a mineral, it's like a Dead Sea Minerals mud mask. And I don't usually love a mud mask because I have such dry skin, but I did like this. I felt like it was doing stuff. I felt like the minerals, I felt like it was getting in amongst the surface of my skin and making it healthy. I don't know. That's such a bad review. My skin just always felt kind of rejuvenated and fresh afterwards. It felt like it was doing more than just like clay that dries and sucks your pores out. There's another mud mask in here that surprised me. It's the Yes to Grapefruit Brightening for Dull and Uneven Skin. It's a vitamin C glow boosting unicorn mask, and I was prepared to roll my eyes at this so hard. Everything about it points to me to it being something that I wouldn't like. So first of all, it says it has vitamin C in it, and I don't really like using vitamin C in a wash-off treatment. I think a really strong L-ascorbic acid serum first thing in the morning, that's where vitamin C belongs in my routine. And it says it's a unicorn mud mask. iridescent pink mask formula, which I never really saw because I always used it in the bath and I wasn't like looking at in the mirror in the bath. But that made me suspicious of this product too, because I was like, iridescent unicorn, like what are they trying to sell me? Something that makes my skin healthier or something that makes me look like I have a pulverized iridescent unicorn smeared all over my face. And on top of all of that, it's a mud mask. So I was very prepared to test out a tiny bit of this in one thin application and then give it away almost new to a friend or donate it or something like that. But I loved it, and I really feel like it has active ingredients in it too. Gosh, of everything that's in it, maybe it's just that the citrus, maybe it's just like strongly citrus, and it made me feel like it was doing good things for my skin, but I'm a little suspicious of citrus on the skin. All I can say is that I was surprised by how enjoyable it was to use, surprised by the results. I did always feel like my skin was a bit invigorated by it, even though it's so ridiculous. This is also a mask that I used up. I'm trying to fish all the masks out at once so there can be some semblance of order in this video. The Peptide Face Mask from Open Formula. This is a matrixyl, and it also looks, so matrixyl 3000 is a proprietary peptide blend. It also looks like it has another proprietary peptide blend in it, so it's definitely got those peptides in it. I mean, they're doing the thing. Open Formula is very much like The Ordinary. And I think what I hoped for this mask was that it would be very, very hydrating, almost like the moisturizing moon mask from Glossier. But it turned out to be one that it went on kind of like a gel cream, but if I left it on my skin for too long, my skin would soak up all of the moisture in the gel cream and it would leave behind sort of like a paste, like a cracking paste. Like, you know, when you're a kid and you get stung by a bee and someone mixes like baking soda and water and puts it on the sting to make it not sting so much, and then the water evaporates and it turns into this kind of like cracking baking soda paste sort of. That was sort of what this felt like on my skin after I'd left it on for maybe half an hour, because I would like leave it on for a really long time. So it wasn't something that I could just drink, my skin could just like drink it and drink it and drink it like the moon mask, but I had good results from it. I felt like it softened my skin, it moisturized, it was absolutely lovely. And if I were going to do such a thing as to like place an order from Open Formula, I would definitely add this in. I think it's at a pretty decent price point, but I'm not over here placing orders really for skincare because I have so much that I need to get through. I really like this. I can say that I was sorry when it ran out. All right, I don't see any other masks in here, but when I was going through, I remembered that there are a couple of things in here that I'm actually decluttering. I decided to just put them in with my empties because I don't see like a huge declutter coming down the pipeline anytime soon. I've decided to declutter this Moon Bright cream. It's a Moonshot Moon Bright cream. It's interesting. It's kind of like a cross between like a color correcting cosmetic cream and a moisturizer. So it has it's like a white cast in a jar is basically what it is. It has a really thick formula and a really white finish, just like a sunscreen, but it's just a cream. It's just like a very white casting sunscreen. And I like it because it helps to make my skin not so much darker than my neck, but it just was hard to work with the formula. It's too melty away to really work with, and I often found that it would like disagree with my primers and my concealers because I think it's very, very water-based, but not in an elegant way like the Erin's Faces sunscreen. It's like kind of thick but water-based, and it would seem like it was working, but then it would sort of melt away. I kept trying and trying and trying, and I did use a good bit of it because I so stubbornly wanted it to work. But I eventually realized that I was just always skipping over it, and every time I used it, it was just because I was like once again trying in the hopes that I would figure out a way to like it. It's also very heavily scented, which isn't my favorite feature for a cream like this that's like going onto the skin pretty much underneath most of the other makeup. Some facial cleansers that have finally kicked the bucket. This is like one of each kind, sort of though. What I meant was like an oil cleanser and a second cleanser, but this is kind of a hybrid. This is the Purely's Blue Lotus 4-in-1 Cleansing Milk. So it's a creamy formula that's supposed to be sort of like an oil-based cleanser, like it's supposed to remove your makeup. It's a weird product that you could use as a first cleanse if it was your only option. And I did sometimes use it as a first cleanser, and it was makeup removing enough to get like my mascara off, for example, and then you could go in with something else after it. But towards the end of its life, I really ended up using it as a second cleanser. Like I'd go in with a bona fide oil cleanser. This is from Primera, and it's the 7-seed nourishing cleansing oil. I really liked it. This is the kind of cleansing oil I really like. Thin, pretty simple, does its job, easy to use. It was lovely. That's why I've gone through it faster than some of the other oil cleanses that I've been working on. And then I would use this one as a second cleanse. It doesn't foam or scrub or anything, but it is beefy enough to be a second cleanse if you've already used an oil. This is the one that I notoriously said had like a weird off-putting smell to me, that it smelled like an alien civilization's approximation of an earth treat. And I'm glad that I'm finally finished with it because I don't like that earth treat smell. Several bath scrubby products are in here. And it's kind of, one of them is kind of embarrassing because this was just in my empties. I think it was actually in my last empties, like my most recent empties. I had this tub of Aaron's Face's peppermint sugar scrub. I loved it so much. I spoke effusively of it in that video because it makes my skin so moisturized. So there was the saga with this where it made me feel very cold when I first used it. Wasn't sure I liked that. Then I figured out that I really did like that. Then I fell in love with it and I started using it a lot and using it in the bath, and it would turn the bath water into just like a skin moisturizing soak. And I've never felt like my all over skin is so moisturized as I have when I've used this in the bath and let it like get into the bath water. So I fell in love with it. I used it up, and then in that video I was like, I love it, I love it, I love it. And then Aaron so kindly surprised me by just sending me another one in the mail, and I've already finished it. All I can say is that it's great and that I love it so much that I used it up horrendously quickly, and I'm sad that it's once again gone. And these two I've had for quite a while because I purchased them with my budget. Not even last month, I don't think. It was the month before. And maybe I should have put them in my empties before. Maybe they just weren't quite empty the last time I was filming one. But it's 2 soft bubbling scrubs from House of Gloy. It's such a beautiful formula. It's pretty thick and like not too whipped, not something that feels like it would collapse. So they're pretty thick and sturdy. And it's a very scrubby thing, but the scrubby particles are small and fine, like a sugar, and then they dissolve away as you're rubbing on your body. So you do get some exfoliation, some smoothing, but it's not rough in the least. And it sort of foams and bubbles up as you're scrubbing it and becomes like a soapy product. So it's kind of a unique and amazing formula. But the best thing about House of Gloy is their scent. Twice as nice. It was like a buttery sugar cookie, coconut, almond type of thing. Eudaimonia was, I think, my favorite of the ones that I've tried recently. Warm ginger, coconut cream, sandalwood, and blood orange. So definitely had a little bit more of like an earthy, like the ginger sandalwood was really heavy. It wasn't too coconutty. It was like a real sort of incensey experience. So these were just absolutely wonderful. Here is another thing that I am finally decluttering. It is my old Turby Twist, the famous Turby Twist that I used as a touch point to talk about realizing that I really need to stop instinctively wanting to replace everything that's old in my house with newer versions of itself when it was still working. So this is like an old check-in video, I think maybe from my no buy year, shortly after my no buy year. For a while I desperately wanted a brand new one. Then I talked myself out of it and talked all about that on my channel, and then I just forgot, and it just became the thing that I use for my hair all the time. It just kept getting older and older and grimier, and I just never really thought of it again after the initial passion for getting a brand new one faded. But I got one in PR, not the one, not the expensive, not the Aquas turban, which was the one that I wanted to buy. This isn't that. This came from that brand Kitsch. They sent me the phone cord hair ties, and they sent me this. And I'm delighted to be able to start using this one because I really love a cheesy banana print. I don't usually love kitschy and cheesy things, but I love a banana leaf print, especially on terry cloth. There's just something about it. Maybe it's because I now live in California. And this one, it's different from the one that I had because it has elastic on the tip of it and it has a button in the back, whereas this one had elastic in the back, an elastic loop that you just tucked it into. So this one could have kept working for me, but it is really, really, really old, and it shows. It's a really great treat to have a new one of this, even though it's not something that I felt like I needed enough to buy. Let's talk about some skincare that I really liked but wouldn't buy for myself. It's like always a story with these like semi-fancy skincare products. So this is the Laneige Sleeping Care Cica Sleeping Mask, and it was good. I feel like the cream in it was passable, moisturizing. It was a good final layer for my skincare at night. This kind of formula from Laneige, I feel like you could get a similar thing for much, much lower of a price from Yes Style. Just like a really good sturdy sleeping mask that has Centella asiatica as one of its major ingredients. If you isolate it from the fact that I think that it's a little bit overpriced, and that I feel like the packaging makes a big deal out of something that doesn't need to have this big of a deal made out of it. It does do what it says it's going to do. It's replenishing, it's moisturizing, it's sturdy, it's lovely. I feel really lucky that I got to use it up. I just haven't thought twice about it since. And this is another thing that is just perfectly lovely. I did look this up when I started using it and found that it was very impressive to me. It's a hyaluronic lotion serum. So when I say serum, that makes me think of like a clear, viscous type of liquid, but this pumped out as like a pretty thick lotiony consistency, and it was very silky on the skin, and it could be layered and layered and layered. So even though it was kind of lotiony, I used it often for the 7 skin method. Like I would pat it into my skin over and over again in layers, and it was really lovely. Gave a really lovely silky smooth finish. I just liked it a lot. It's a GM Colin Paris anti-aging serum. But once again, I liked it because I had it. Simbri gave it to me. I didn't buy it. I think it's like $65 or $85 or something like that. And in spite of how much I liked it, I would never ever buy it for that price because it's just a hyaluronic acid serum. And you can get a hyaluronic acid serum for like $5 from The Ordinary. This one was very cosmetically elegant, but not enough to make me want to pay that price for it. I have referenced this recently because I used this brow dye kit up before I realized it, and so then I went to dye my brows and there wasn't any left, but I got through this Godefroy tint kit that I used to dye my brows, and I ordered another one. I replaced it. I also got through this Surge Advanced Hair Care Texture Spray. This is a fantastic, super sticky texture spray. I love what a sticky rat's nest it makes out of my hair. My friend Jen sent this to me. She has a YouTube channel. It's called Living the Dream. And it's her friend who owns the salon that developed this product. I'm not sure if it's available online yet, but if it is, I'll link it. It's fantastic. There are 4 makeup products in here, and these are the last things I'm going to talk about. But 2 of them are mascaras, and it's like they're half being decluttered, but also empties, because I've had them both since January. I think they've both been open since January. The Grande Lash one might have been open since December. So it's the Grande Lash mascara, the lash boosting one, and also the Glossy Lash Slick, which is from January, because that's when I bought it for review. They are being let go because it's been the right length of time. Like it's been too long and it's time for them to go. But I also didn't particularly love either of them. The Lash Slick really pretty much disappointed me. I feel like it's only good for the lower lashes. And even that, I never really took that much pleasure in it. And the Grande Lash, it's like a good faith effort at a fibrous mascara, but the fibers don't really do what I want them to do. It just felt like it made my lashes a little bit spindly and sort of thin. It never really gave me like that volume that I want. So both of these are subpar for me for my mascara purposes, but they're also old enough that I feel like I can in good conscience be like, you're done. But these last 2 are real true blue empties. So this is the Makeup Forever Concealer, my ride or die. It's the Ultra HD light capturing self-setting concealer, and I use the shade Pearl, which is just a touch light for me. It's a real brightening concealer, but I'm super loyal to it. I decided to, okay, I'm getting all tangled up because I have like 1,000 things to say about this concealer. 1,000. Texture wise, it's the best. That's why I'm loyal to it. It is so skin-like. I searched when I was originally going to buy my own concealer. I searched and searched and searched, and I determined that this was the most skin-like one that came in a wide enough shade range for me. And so I remember that that was the reason that I bought it, but I had gotten so used to it that when I ran out of this and I started using like a ColourPop one that I had lying around, I was just like, nothing holds a candle to my Makeup Forever Ultra HD. So I really am loyal to this for that reason. The other thing I was trying to say at the same time as this thing about its texture is that I ended up repurchasing the same color, the super light color. It's not even their lightest, it's their second lightest color. I really like being able to put just a touch of it when I'm trying to brighten up the brightest parts of my face to match my skin better. And then the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow. I'm sure there's still a little bit left in there. It's just gotten so disgusting and gunky and difficult to use. I popped out the stopper so that I could get the last bits of it, and then the fact that the stopper is not in there just turned it into a serious mess. And so I have not reached for it for a really long time. I have gotten every good use that I can out of this amazing product. I really, really love CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow. I might actually replace it just to extend the life of my Patrick Ta, and also to give me the option of a brow product that has some color in it, because this is not just like a waxy set, it also darkens the brows. And that is it. Those were 25 items in my empties. I've really been busting through the skincare in quarantine. I've been taking extra good care of myself. And I know that I must have used at least 5 sheet masks that I didn't put in here, and I did count my sheet masks at the beginning of the year when I was inventorying my stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and give myself an extra 5 to make it 30 empties for this month and mark 30 things on the stuff out part of my list, because I threw away a bunch of sheet mask packets without counting them. So as usual, my count isn't staying perfect. I'm going to recount everything at the end of the year. I'm just tallying my stuff in and stuff out to kind of keep a general track of how things are going, whether I'm staying ahead. And we got through it before the sun got too shiny, although I am starting to get a little bit squinty as it floods through the panes. And if I stay much longer, then a beam is going to find its way over here and shine directly in my eyes. So I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I hope that you're remembering to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.